Hello, and welcome to Miss Henderson's Life Skills class. I am Miss Henderson, and I thank you for joining me today. Um, I'd like to acknowledge National Women's History Month, okay? And I'd like to just send a shout out to all of the women history makers throughout the world. Thank you for your contributions, and they're very much appreciated by so many people, and there's so much that has been contributed by women to the world that would take me a long, long, long time to list everything here in this setting. One thing I'd like to do, though, I know that there are great women, famous women all over the world who are in history books who are acknowledged, and I think that's wonderful, and we should continue to do that. But I would like for us to acknowledge the women that who are history makers, movers and shakers in our communities, in our homes, in our schools, in the local businesses, women that we can actually come in contact with. The famous people, women who've made history and their contributions that we all benefit from and so forth, I'm all for that. I don't want to take anything away from them. But I don't want to neglect or ignore women who are working each and every day for their families to maintain history in their family and to create a legacy and to just take care of their families, doing what they have to do to make things work out. And this is not to take anything away from anyone else, but we need to give credit where credit is due as well. Some people have overcome so many things to take care of their families, and some women in the communities or in our families, they are even role models and don't realize it. I think to a certain extent we all are role models, whether we realize it or not. Someone is watching us, and in the case of us women, there are younger women who are watching us and who say they want to be like us. And they may not tell us, but they have their eye on us. Whether it's someone in our family, our household, in the community, in our at our workplace, at church, you never know who admires you, who's watching you, and who considers you a role model. So we should be mindful of our conduct at all times because we just never know. Maybe where you buy your gas or your local grocers, you just never know. The clerk there could admire how you walk in and take care of your business. So just be mindful of our conduct and how we carry ourselves. So, let's see. Mm. So, first and foremost, I would like to honor my mother, Mary Kay Henderson, who took care of me, who raised me, and was a dynamic woman. And she did the best she could with what she had, and boy, did she do a great job. My mother, uh, words of wisdom, lots of love, stern discipline and guidance, very good support network, my mom. And lots of things I remember about her, but I do remember, I could go and look in the refrigerator and say, oh, it's nothing to eat. And, I'm hungry. And go to my room and, shoot, half hour later or so, it's smelling good and she's calling me down and she done whipped up, nice. It wasn't no sandwich. She had good hot cooked food and she never left the house or anything like that. And we didn't have microwave back then. There was no microwave. So she could make a meal which seemed like out of nothing. And I've learned that as you know how to put things together, you are able to do that. And so it was one of her things. My mother was an excellent cook, very creative woman, just a lot of things. And a lot of who I am and what I've learned was from watching her. Another woman I'd like to acknowledge would be my Aunt Thelma, a very classy lady, worked outside of the home. She never had any children of her own, and I was her goddaughter. And so she's no longer with us either. My mother's no longer with us. I lost my mom when I was in my early 20s, and my Aunt Thelma, she passed away, about 20 years ago. Wow, time goes really fast. Um, I'd like to acknowledge my sister Danita Pierce, who is no longer with us, and just a lovely, lovely lady. In our later years, we got a little bit closer, and she's just silly and giggle all the time. She's the older one, but she it was just too much. So it's still unbelievable that she left us and she's gone, but it is so. And so those are just a few women in my family. All of the women in my family are strong women who just get things done. My niece Danisa and her family, and brilliantly are my two daughters. I have two daughters, and they are outstanding, both of them in their own right. Absolutely outstanding. I'm proud of both of my daughters. One of my daughter, one of my daughters is the mother of 5 children, and she works outside of the home. She runs her own businesses, and she takes care of her family. I mean, she's a homeowner. She has a lot going on for her, and I'm very proud of uh, the woman that she has become, the mother and that she is. And I just pray, keep her in my prayers. And it's been a rocky road for all of us, but she stayed the course, and she's doing quite well. My younger daughter, um, she has 4 cats. She works outside of the home. She's actually pursuing her doctorate right now, but she's a graduate of U of M and of Eastern Michigan, and now she's attending, I believe, University of Michigan, and she works there as well, and she's brilliant, just a brilliant young woman. So um, I'm very proud of my daughters, and I wish them well and keep them in my prayers. And other members of my family and in my community, the women with whom I work, outstanding educators. My company, the school that I work for, the CEO is a woman. Our superintendent is a woman. And then the particular site where I am located, the principal or site leader is a woman, and we are making things happen. So um, just to acknowledge each and every one of them. And one thing we women have to learn to work together and to really love on one another in person and behind each other's back. We need to know that we have each other's back and that we can trust one another, uh, whether we're face to face or when we're behind each other's back. We really need to stand strong together, and we can accomplish a lot more. So that being said, I'd also like to acknowledge some teachers from my childhood or past. Um, Gloria McCulley will always be the person who really stood out in my life that wasn't in my family. Gloria McCulley was one of my music teachers, the number one music teacher in my life. And she's responsible for me traveling all over the world, to different countries, and even around in the city and so forth, singing. She was responsible for me having voice lessons. Just everything that with music, Gloria McCulley is responsible for. I remember, excuse me, when I was a child, I sang in Glee Club and all that kind of thing in elementary and middle school, and it was no big. It was just an activity. And every now and again, I would go to summer camp, and Miss McCulley was there every year, and she made sure that I went to summer camp, but I never thought anything of it. So when I went to high school, my special class was typing. I wanted to type, get ready for the work world, right? And I remember my scheduled classes and everything, and I was in my typing class. I think I was in that class about a week. And I'm in there just typing, A, S, D, F, L, L, K, M, C. Anyway, that's how we learned to type back then. We didn't have computers or word processors. We had IBM Selectrics. Okay, so I'm in there typing, and Mr. Riley, he was the typing teacher. And next thing I know, Miss McCulley is at the typing teacher's door, and she talks to him, and next thing I know, she went and changed my schedule to have, during my second hour, concert choir. I was in concert choir. She pulled me out of typing to have me as a part of concert choir while I was in high school. And from there, she made sure I had auditions for colleges. She groomed me and coached me and took care of me. We went to festival, solo and ensemble festivals every year where I would score ratings of ones for my solos, and things like that. I was always a featured or principal soloist for concert choir as a freshman. So I just thank God for Gloria McCulley, because her input into my life, I believe it probably kept me out of a lot of trouble, because I was so wrapped up in music. I wasn't hanging out and doing things that a lot of teenagers do. And I believe that activity with her kept me out of trouble. I mean, even times when my mom was not home, when Miss McCulley would bring me home because we had been out with a late performance or something, Miss McCulley would take me to her home, and I would stay there until she could take me back home. It was just a good relationship. She was like a mother to me. And so I owe a lot to Miss McCulley. She is no longer with us, but I thank God for her. And her daughter um sang with Stevie Wonder, was one of his backup singers, and they came to our school one year. Stevie Wonder did. That was when his Hotter Than July album was out, and I guess it was part of his promotion, and he happened to be in Detroit for a concert, and so he stopped by the high school. It was a big to-do, okay? So, Gloria McCulley and Joan Lumsden. She was an elementary school music teacher, and she was excellent, and the two of them worked together. And so my first encounter with organized music in a school was with Joan Lumsden, and then we would go to camp over the summers and so forth, and that's where I got into met Miss McCulley. And then when I got to her school in high school, that's when we really took off with music. So Rotary Club scholarships, so much. So I thank Gloria McCulley and Joan Lumsden. Last but not least, I'd like to just mention, actually not last, but the last just in a list, Vivian Randolph, which is a friend of mine's mother. And I admire her. He would tell me her story. I never spent a lot of time with Miss Randolph, but he and I, we were good friends. We worked together and hung out, and I mean, spent a lot of time together over the years. And he would just tell me stuff about his mom and his sister. And I know one particular story he told me about his mother. I believe It's one of the Carolinas. I think it's South Carolina, where they are from originally. And he said he remembered one day his mother had her suitcase. And I guess he was about 9 years old. His mother had her suitcase, and he remembered her with the suitcase walking across the railroad tracks and going. She said she turned around. She was going across the railroad tracks to catch the train to head to Detroit to start a new life. She had gone through a lot of things down there with her husband, and just things weren't working out, and she took matters into her own hands and took her life into her own hands, and said she went for the change. And I think that was monumental. It was inspirational for me in making certain decisions in my life. I would think about how she was brave and courageous and went forward, and she came to Michigan. She got a job at General Motors. She bought a home, car. She went and got her children, brought them here, and she hasn't looked back since. So she's been an inspiration to me. And God bless her, and God bless all women who are just getting some things done. We're making history. So, last but not least, I'd like to acknowledge a young woman. She's a young mom uh, of two beautiful children, uh, but and she is brilliant. She is absolutely brilliant, young woman. She created a product out of need. She noticed that her youngest child, her son, he would break out in a rash. He was allergic to just about everything as far as grooming things, soaps and this, that, and the other. And so she has her degree. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I do know it's very close to being a rocket scientist. She can put things together. And she worked outside of the home for major corporation, one of the big three, for years. Anyway, she took it upon herself to create a product to help her son for his allergies and sensitive skin and so forth. And there are plenty of write-ups. She's been on local news shows and in local newspapers for creating this product. So I would like to acknowledge Miss Camilla Rice, the owner and CEO and everything else there is to it, for Green Olive Soaps. Green Olive Soaps. And these are some of her items. She has a full line of products, and I will just show you a few. So, and there's luxury, it's Green Olive Soaps, luxury, let's read this. Luxury, organic, and vegan skincare. Her website is www.greenolivesoaps.com. So please visit her website. And then she packages everything up so beautifully. And here's our card here with some of the products there. And then there's her card there. I think you can screenshot it. Okay. So she's in Troy, Michigan. Camilla A. Rice, artisan soap maker and owner. Green Olive Soaps, handmade, old-fashioned, pure soap. Cruelty-free. Soap bars and cupcakes, bathing salts, body scrubs, and lip balms. Vegan and organic bath essentials. Okay? So she packages everything up so beautifully. You know, this is a good box, so she spares no expense. And so then when you go inside, nice shower steamer, body scrub. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. And you can't have a scrub without the butter now, can you? Body butter. So that's that particular set. And she's at any of the shows, or they set up and have, big conventions and things. I can't think of the name of it now, but she's always at those with the booths and everything, especially for organic stuff. I'm very proud of her. These are some of her soaps. Look at that one. Very nice. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That pretty little rose, and just gorgeous. Beautiful. And here's another box. Let's see. Look at this. Beautiful. More body butter. This is coconut soap here. And see, she packages it up in these little sachet bags. Does a beautiful job. Intoxicating. Shower steamer. So you put these in the shower with you. So you really, I'm very proud to know this young woman. I knew her when she was in high school. And look at this. Now, this is my favorite thing. Look at that. She made that. Isn't that beautiful? There's that cupcake. Alright. So, my videos run a little bit long, but I wanted to acknowledge some of the women, and I ask that you acknowledge the women you know, whether they're family members, co-workers, friends. Acknowledge them for their hard work and their efforts, along with National Women's History Month, and acknowledging other women who have made major contributions. The minor ones are major to us as well. All right? God bless you. Until we speak again, may love bring you to your feet and show you how to dream again. In Jesus' name I pray.